Hi guys, I'm Shay. Welcome back to the channel. This is a very special occasion, so I've donned the cowboy hat and I am drawing a cowboy in this video, so I was like, why not? We will be doing a draw with me. It's a very special occasion because we just hit 45,000 on Instagram, which is crazy, and then also 5,000 on YouTube, which is also crazy. So thank you so much. And to celebrate, I've decided to do a draw this in your style event sort of thing. I've never done it before, and I'll be drawing one of my cowboy characters that I created last semester in school. I really haven't gotten a chance to like develop him more yet, so I was just like, hey, why not? And a bunch of people have been asking about him. I know I've gotten a bunch of comments about the fruit themed cowboys from my like sketchbook tour, so I've decided to give myself the room to like kind of explore those characters and just have a lot of fun because I've been itching to like develop them more, explore more of their world and who they are. In this video, I will be drawing Strawberry Saul. That painting was in my BFA show for like my final semester in school. There's both like classic Western elements and like fantasy elements because he has like a sword. And I'm like thinking there's like a whole like magic system. A bunch of different artists are making like cowboy themed art and putting different twists on it, which I think is really cool. And so here's just me putting my own twist on it. I just really like fruit or like cowboy, so I was like, hey, combine it. Cool. This is definitely not an excuse to keep on drawing cowboys. Definitely no. This is strictly business, content creation related. I think one of my friends said the strawberry shortcake version of cowboys were like, you know how each of the different girls are like a fruit theme or like a dessert theme, so these cowboys are like all different like fruit themes as well, which I support. Early 2000s media, always so good. I've never really done a draw this in your style like event. I just participated one in like one of my favorite artists and I really had a lot of fun with it. So, and it's cool to see like everyone's take on like the same subject matter and like the same character. So yeah, thank you so much for 45K on Instagram and 5,000 on YouTube. I'm very grateful, and this is just a way to kind of like celebrate that all together. Also, like one of the main art goals I have right now is to really figure out like a consistent and efficient digital coloring style. I've yet to find that. I've always struggled with kind of maintaining a good workflow digitally and finding a consistent like coloring style. And since this is my job now, I can't just like spend like 20 hours on something like every week. That's super draining and not realistic. So let's see what we can do in this video, and hopefully I'll get a little bit closer to that goal. So earlier last week, I started to delve back into Strawberry Saul as a character, just trying to remember who he is because I hadn't drawn him for such a long time and I hadn't painted him for such a long time either. And so I was just trying to figure out his likeness again. I was having a really hard time personally, so I think that was mainly the issue with just not figuring out how to draw my own character. But I really like this idea of him carrying like the strawberry crate. Moving on, just this past weekend, I regained my strength. I just like went crazy with all these iterations of different ideas I had of him holding the strawberry crates, and then like him holding like a shortcake, and then him holding his sword and it being like super epic and everything. I really like these more like action poses, like the one with like the sword over his head. It's super interesting, and like I want to do more like dynamic poses, and like him holding the sword like that is like really cool as well. But something was just like really speaking to me about like these more like domestic like sweet like poses, that so just like exploring more of his personality more than just like the sword and like the epicness, just like him goofing around and hanging about. And I really ended up liking like this main central pose. I thought it was really endearing and just fun. So I tried to make the more like epic pose work, and I came up with this, which is like, it's really cool. I feel like it'd be like a cool like poster style drawing, but I found it was too like Aragorn, Return of the King-ish, not really showing Saul's character that much. I ended up going back to that more pinup pose that's just so fun and ridiculous, and I also really wanted to draw a cake. So I was just like giving this excuse for me to draw a cake and something sweet because I've been eating a ton of strawberries lately. So I really like this pose, so I took it further yesterday and kind of rendered it out more, and yeah, came up with this. So like his sword is still visible, it's showing still that like defender side of him, that warrior side of him, but like also the short cake and something sweet and him being goofy, which I feel like shows more of his lighthearted personality compared to his partner, Blueberry Bill. So I think today I'm going to be inking this and getting the flat colors down, along with hopefully getting in like the shading in. But yeah, let's see how this goes. For the inking process, I've yet to find a brush that I really like for inking. I think that comes from me just not naturally being like a very precise like draftsman. It's difficult for me to like really commit to lines, which I really want to practice. But yeah, I've been kind of tinkering with the default brushes on Procreate and trying to like meld them into my own favorite kind of like inking brush style. I've like somewhat like a little bit success because a lot of the Procreate like default brushes are really hard and I wanted something like a little bit softer, but I didn't want to use like one of like the painting brushes to ink because those tend to have like a smudging or mixing ability. And I feel like having a really solid like drawing under what you're going to paint is super important because that's like the basis of what you're like building on top of. So having that really like figured out, like proportions are clear, no like weirdness, and like fixing that before you color it is super helpful, like time wise, and just like saving a lot of future heartache. I was like, oh wait, these eyes are like completely far apart. So like this part of the process I feel like usually takes the longest because I'm kind of scared of like messing up, or I really wanted to make it look good. But I feel like I find in this process I lose a lot of the charm of the original sketch and a lot of the energy. So I feel like a good goal to shoot for as well in the future is trying to like keep the same energy of the sketch and like the gesture as I continue to render it out more, because I also find that a lot of my pieces get a little stiff or like they're pretty stagnant towards the end. But yeah, so just practice and intentional practice and being mindful of that should really help. I still like really enjoy this process. Like it's still art. I'm still drawing and it's still fun for me to do. It's just a bit more difficult because my brain does not work as well in lines as it does in like shapes and like color. With this like drawing in particular, I didn't find too much difficulty. I think I used like the pen brushes that I was customizing and messing with, and I really like the effect of it. There were some things I had to fix further down the line, like proportion wise. So I just used like the liquify tool and selected all the layers. But yeah, I think it's a good start. I don't know, I'm very like critical of my own work, so I always think I can do better, but it's not too bad. It's a good start. Okay, this cowboy hat is getting way too hot. It always gets crazy hot. Out of my face. Forehead is out. Okay, for the coloring process, which is like, I think is my favorite part. I really love color and experimenting with color, and I feel like it like comes most naturally to me and most like intuitive to me, like relying on like the simple like basis of like analogous complementary color theory terms and just like keeping it simple across the board. I find that like the simpler you keep the color at the beginning leads for like a strong base and a strong like color language across the board. So for this drawing in particular, Saul is originally like, he's like a purpley, maybe like a purpley magenta indigo a little bit, because like as I was like planning out the colors for this one, I was just like, oh, purple and this green and this teal, that'd be so cool and like weird and just fun to paint. Like I just wanted it for like color's sake, not necessarily as like a character design aspect, but looking back critically through like a character design lens, I decided to make Saul a bit more like rosier, pinkier, because he's Strawberry Saul. He's like, strawberries is his thing. But yeah, it's also fun kind of like messing with, this is like doing like true like local color, like his like skin tone, but just like making it like pink across the board. That's super fun. Okay, moving on to the shading process. Mine's pretty like straightforward. I basically just like layer on a bunch of like multiply and add and like glow layers to like reach the sort of like dimension that I want. With this particular like rendering style I was going for, I was trying to keep like the shading to a minimum, trying to keep things more flat and more like evenly lit across the board. As mentioned earlier, I feel like it's way better to go simpler. Like if you're getting too complicated, just like restarting and going simpler, because I think I did this a little bit with this piece. I felt like I was going too crazy with the shading and like the multiply layers, so I like started over and like simplify everything, and it just makes for a lot clearer of a painting, and the colors are clear and they're not as muddied by like shadows. Okay, it's the next morning. Good morning. I spent most of last evening working on the strawberry Saul piece, and I really like how it's going. I got a lot of like the flat colors down, along with a little bit of like kind of like the first layer of like shading going on. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's super self-indulgent. I really love the colors. Honestly, the way I'm coloring him, it's reminding me of like a human version of like My Little Pony character. Like this would be like one of Applejack's cousins or something like that. I'm just gonna keep on working on this the rest of the day. But yeah, let's continue to work on this, man. Let's go. This is like the final step in my digital like process so far. I'd say it's like I probably need to, I don't know, rework it. I should not do this because it's not very efficient and it doesn't really utilize like the aspects of digital art as it should. So basically I just take one layer and put it on top of everything else and just like paint over, and it's not very conducive to a good workflow and painting style in digital work because you're just painting on top of all the layers instead of like working in the layers you already have and painting in those. But I think it's because I'm not very confident with my lines, so I feel like if I'm painting over my lines, it secures that like, oh, it'll look good because even if my lines still look good, I can just like paint over them, which is kind of like an easy way out, but ultimately it kind of hurts me in the end because like if I need to erase something in the prior layers, I have to like go find it and do it. If I want to like edit the color of something or the skin, I have like the main chunk paint layer that's covering everything and it has some of that skin tone, while there's like another layer down here that has like the main skin tone, and I'm like have to like match both. It's not very organized and it's not very good, but I'm thinking about in the future kind of, I don't know, painting under the line art, like get more confident with my line art and painting under it, or try and find a way to like kind of meld the two together, painting and line art, and just figure out like a better way of doing that. I think this just comes with like time, studying like favorite digital artists I have, and intentional practice on my part, because I know that whenever I like start a new digital drawing, I'm like, okay, let's have like a completely new process and just like go crazy and not have a consistent result just because I'm like, oh, I don't want to do the same thing that I already did. It's like kind of like grasping for any like new like shiny object to see if it would like help me along my digital art style, which it sometimes helps. Like I'll learn like nuggets along the way, but not consistently like picking something like, okay, I'm gonna like practice this process and get more comfortable with it and then tweak across time. I feel like that'd be better. But I think it's just me continually being stuck between this sort of like cartoony, like semi-realistic style that is line work reliant versus like my painting heart and not being able to just go crazy and like paint everywhere and render out. So it's just trying to find a happy medium between the two and something that would satisfy both of those like hungers or something. But ultimately I think it would be more sustainable in the long run to like simplify more and just start off with like simplifying more and just like build up from there and try and find a better process like that. With this piece in particular, Strawberry Saul, I don't necessarily like hate how it turns out. Like I actually really like it. It's like really cute. I really love the colors. It was very self-indulgent. Strawberry shortcake looks delicious, but it's definitely not where I want to be, and I feel like there was still a lot of hiccups and it wasn't that much of like a smooth process to me, which is a bit like frustrating because I just want to be able to like smoothly go through the process like what I do with traditional painting. And it is kind of some like my digital process is kind of similar to like my physical traditional like painting style, because I will start off with like a drawing and then put down like flat colors or put like different washes down and like build up that color that way. With digital, I find I just have like with digital I find it gets too messy, and then I get like caught up in the details of trying to clean everything up, and then it's just like hours spent like just cleaning up and rendering out the tiniest of details that no one will see. So it's just picking and choosing what's important, what the viewer will find most important in the image, and like taking that to like a fully rendered state while leaving other pieces of the drawing a bit more simplified. But I think across the board, just like simplifying more for me would be better, and then slowly building up and adding stuff on top would be a better workflow and help me to not get lost in the weeds of creating a piece and never posting it. Because I think I feel like it's a little bit of an inside joke with some of my followers. I have like this Dionysus piece inspired by Hades the game, and I started it over summer, and it was a very like painterly style that I don't really want to continue anymore. So I just don't want to post it because it's not like what I want to be like known for, I guess, or like a statement for like who I am as an artist. It's not that crazy, but in my mind it's just like the art that I want to post now, I want it to like represent me better. Yeah, I just like still never posted it. I don't really like it. I mean, I might rework it in a way that I like more and that I want my art to look like more, but I doubt it because I have like so many other ideas that I want to do. But yeah, so to just like keep myself from doing that, because like you pour all this time into a piece and you're like, I really don't like this, or like I don't like that I like spent this long on it, or like painted so much, you know, you learn that way sometimes, I don't know, and your intentions change as an artist, and I feel like mine have changed a ton since last year. So ultimately, yeah, I really like how Strawberry Saul turned out in this piece. It was really fun to work on and just experiment and try and like push myself to like try new things out, try things that I've learned from watching some YouTube tutorials and looking at other artists. It's definitely a great start for my digital art goals, and it's like I get to make more cowboy art, which I've been meaning to do for forever, especially like these characters of mine. Yeah, it's like good, it's a good like starting point for his character and just what I want to like do and how I want to portray. I'm hoping to make like possibly like a matching piece of Blueberry Bill, or maybe making a piece of them together. I do have like a traditional painting idea for the both of them. We'll see if that happens. A lot has been going on, it's been crazy. But yeah, I want to thank you guys again for hold on, I'll put the cowboy hat on again for the end of the video. It ain't much, but it's honest work. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the love and support these days with me starting out all these social media endeavors and art business endeavors. I really appreciate all the really nice comments and excitement to see more of my artwork. It's kind of crazy how much like people want to see my art, and it's really heartwarming to like hear that for me as like an emerging artist and trying to make this my career. But yeah, this Draw This in Your Style will be posted, the full image will be posted on Instagram and the YouTube community tab, and like all the things, all the like rules will be set up. It's definitely not a competition, there's no like winner, but I'm hoping to like repost as many drawings as I can and seeing all your guys' cool artwork. I hope you have fun drawing him. It was fun for me to draw him. Yeah, thank you again for 5,000 subscribers and 45,000 on Instagram. It's been a crazy ride these first couple months of the year. I look forward to figuring out more of a consistent like art practice and sharing more of my artwork with you guys. Maybe one day I might figure out a good digital painting style, but we are not there yet. But subscribe to this channel to see if I ever get there. Follow me on Instagram to see more sketchbook content and digital art content. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Draw a bit, maybe a cowboy, maybe this cowboy. But yeah, take care of yourself. Have a good day. Bye.